Hey everyone, welcome to another postmortem for Progressive Pop. This is the podcast that looks at pop culture through a progressive lens. We dissect and look at movies and see what messages they're trying to tell us or reinforce in us in society and culture, all that good stuff. This week's movie, we looked at UHF, Weird Al's 1989 satirical comedy flick. Which we on this episode we praised. The podcast was us gushing about it. We were both big Weird Al fans and fans of this movie. But I did want to bring up, so the postmortem here is to bring up, stuff that we forgot to highlight or didn't mention or maybe misphrase, which we do a lot, especially myself. So let's just jump into it. First off, I wanted to apologize about the way I phrased my phrasing of Motown, and I kind of was dismissive, I think, of Motown and saying that Motown was, this corporate entity that kind of highlighted the music over the messaging, and that's not true with Motown itself. However, as Motown got bigger, the sound and the artists were acquired by other record companies, larger record companies, different record companies, and something like Capitol Records. I'm trying to think of another big record company at the time. I don't remember. The one with the dog and the record with the phonograph, whatever that one's called. They tended to, highlight the artists and the poppiness, and kind of made them more pop than R&B. And the messaging kind of took a backseat to things, and that's what I wanted to highlight. These corporations tend to do that. I compared Motown to Nirvana, which is not a one-on-one comparison, but Nirvana had the same thing where Bleach was this rough and ready to go thing. Not a lot of, I think, if I look at the lyrics, messages that speak to anything much, not the way that Motown does. But then when you had Nirvana signed to Geffen, I believe, and before Nirvana was released, or Nevermind was released, Nevermind was like really, really polished compared to Bleach. And there's some messagings, but the way Kurt Cobain wrote lyrics is that it was this kind of poetry, I would say, that was like, you could like read into it depending on where you are. I mean, he definitely had a point of view, but it wasn't like very clear lyrics, in my opinion. I could be wrong, misremembering. It's been a while since I've looked at Nirvana lyrics. But yeah, so Motown and Nirvana did the same thing where they went through these corporate attributions, either directly like Nirvana or, what would you call it? Indirectly when the artist or like the sound was copied, stuff like that. Or, people start looking for other R&B music that was in the area. But yeah, that's what I wanted to address. It wasn't dismissing Motown or Nirvana. Definitely not Motown, maybe Nirvana a little bit. I love Nirvana, but it was pretty poppy, and we know that Kurt was definitely thinking about success when he did his stuff. But anyways, that's a whole different thing I talk about. Next up, that was from me. Next up is more from Tom and myself. And we were thinking about like U62, the channel that Weird Al owned, and how could it survive in a capitalist society, which is what it's built on, which is like, it's the American society that's just a American movie, and so it's based on the same things. I mean, you see money running around being the issue from the get-go. Gambling, people gambling, they get rid of their station, they offload it, it's not worth much, he's going to sell it. Weird Al takes over management of it. It's in the crapper, he's trying to pay off debt. Gets a hit show, makes money, can make more shows. Affiliate gets involved, tries to buy it. There's debt that needs to be repaid. All money. But okay, once all that's settled, the problem becomes the system itself, where TV stations will get, or any creator will get into this rut of making the same thing, making this formulaic thing over and over again because they know it's successful and it's easy to do. And they've got the plan down, it's the formula. Would that station U62 fall in the same category? Would it be the same station if it fell into that rut? I don't think it would be the same station because, they're there to be chaotic, and I think they would quickly start falling and lose their position. I don't know if they'd be able to regain it back. Maybe they could. I don't know. So that just happens. That's just the nature of the beast of creating one, but then also creating for viewers and for money. And then you think of the people involved in it. Would Stanley Spadowski always be so innocent if Fortune and Fame, he actually got an idea of his Fortune and Fame? Or just the fame? I mean, would somebody be able to entice him away from that station? Would he start making demands on his show? Would he start changing things? Would he start having more control in different areas? I don't know. I don't know if that's in his character to do it, but it's something to think about. Would Fran Dresser's character, the secretary turned reporter, move to another station, move to an ABC affiliate to do reporting? Would somebody come looking around to acquire her? Would she stay? Would Stanley, I see, he has like his best friend mentality with Weird Al, and he's very loyal, but is Fran's character? I don't know. Are the other characters? I don't know. Is Noodles? Noodles could become, he looked like he was hosting a game show. Could he be acquired from an affiliate to host another game show? Let alone be a cameraman somewhere else. But you see these acquisitions, and media itself, large media, businesses just like to acquire and consolidate smaller ones, especially ones doing well or in competition with them. You see that with the affiliate trying to acquire U62 just to snuff them out. But, what about if the company that owned the affiliates came looking for U62 and wanted to make them an affiliate, or acquire their shows or acquire their talent? Then you start having these, and that's how you get homogenous viewpoints happening in media, and that's why you have people talking about mainstream media, and it's usually Fox people talking about mainstream media, but Fox is also part of the mainstream media. It's just that the opposite side of the coin. You need that in order to maintain certain messaging. And then you have these larger companies like Disney acquiring Fox, acquiring Marvel. They have the Muppets, and so they're housing all this intellectual property, let alone ABC and CBS, let alone Viacom, who owns, I think, MTV and Nickelodeon and probably like Food Network and all that stuff. So you're getting into these areas where, which we didn't talk about, but the reason Weird Al's station U62 stands out so much is because it is not acquired, because it does not need to be acquired, because it can be on TV with a smaller overhead and be almost like a working class television station, which you don't really see nowadays. You can't be doing this and be on cable. do it and be on YouTube. I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube. That's where you're watching this, but it's not something that can happen anymore, where a small up and coming production company can get on the air on like local TV and maybe put some shows on local Channel 9 or whatever. Even if they could, how many people are watching that versus how many people are just watching YouTube and cable and HBO Max or whatever. So it becomes this crazy rally for consolidation, or just trying to get your message out there. Like, we're a small YouTube channel and podcasts, and we're just trying to get our message out there, and there's no way for us to get bigger, and the competition is way fiercer than before, and you're going to have people, and we're up against people making podcasts who are like Chelsea Clinton, getting a podcast from like Sirius Radio or something, or iHeartRadio. I can't remember. She got something from that. And then there's like people like us just trying to do it in our bedrooms with equipment that we bought. But yeah, so these people this talent is already getting consolidated, and the medium itself is almost being consolidated into these larger areas, because people think of podcasts, they're going to start thinking of iHeartRadio and Sirius rather than, just go looking for something on Spotify or Apple. So just a thought. How do we combat this? I don't know. What's the moral behind all this stuff? I don't know, besides consolidation is bad. It's just something that we felt we needed to address because we didn't address it in the previous episode. And a lot of times we don't have the answers. We just address them to bring it about. So yeah, that's it. So that's the postmortem for UHF. If you haven't watched the movie or listened to the podcast, I recommend. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, I'll have the links in the description below. I also have links to the Patreon and bookshop.org. And then I think I'm going to add the Etsy shop. We have some t-shirts up now. But that's it. So thanks for tuning in. Bye.